connecting people. And our business is all about connection, right? You're connecting buyers and sellers together. You're connecting, business owners to other business owners. And it's just a good place. If you build it right, just like LabCoatAgents, if you build it right, people can talk about what is their problem.
Because the management and transparency is what's very important. So once you submit a referral, you're going to have your own Home Advantage account, and it's going to tell you where everything sits. So if you have 10 referrals that you've sent into the network, it's going to give you all 10 referrals. It's going to tell you every milestone that client is sitting in, whether they're touring homes, whether they're in escrow. And you now can manage through the Home Advantage application as far as what your pipeline looks like for the referrals that you've sent. And so it's pretty sophisticated, and it's all click of a button, guys.
Okay, so I'm totally excited to actually welcome you, John, to this wonderful stage of ours, LCA, to share information about Facebook community groups. And I'm totally excited to learn from you, because look what we've done with LCA and what you've done with your. I mean, I looked at those numbers and I was like, wow, these are amazing numbers, where you have 76,000 group members and 200,000 interactions per month. And then, I was just like shocked with these numbers. I'm like, wow, I want to learn more. And then 105 million sold in 5 years. Like,
yeah, that's just from from community groups. So it's been a wild ride.
And I want to learn more. And I know all our listeners here who have actually joined us, please tell us city and state that you're from, but I'm sure that all of them would love to learn more about how to create Facebook groups. So I'm just going to turn it right around to you. Totally. And you start telling us, where do we start? How does this work?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, about 5 years ago, I was pretty much your average realtor, right? I spent time in buying leads. So I buy from Zillow and PPC and Facebook leads and chasing and doing all that kind of stuff, right? And that's pretty norm for a lot of agents. And I started this little community group here where I live in Scottsdale. And the original idea behind it was just to kind of get my name out there more and maybe, meet some new people and get some new potential business. And it kind of took off from there. So it morphed from what it really was to start into something way more, really similar to LabCoatAgents, right? Because I'm sure when that started up, had no idea where it was going and what it was going to become, and same kind of thing happened to me. So, it's been a heck of a ride, right? I mean, our groups are Scottsdale Living, which is the first group. And then we did Phoenix Living, and then we did Tempe Living, all cities, communities here in Phoenix metro area. And then we had expanded it to a women's group, and then to a veterans group, and to a business group. So it's all kind of taken off. The beauty for me is that, probably 5 or 6 years ago, I used to spend, anywhere from $4,000 to $5,000 to $6,000 a month on lead gen. And now I don't spend a dime. So that's, so it's
all your business is coming from these community groups.
Well, so I've always had referrals and sphere of influence, right?
Right.
But I would say 70% of my business before was paid leads, and now it comes from the community groups. So it's been a heck of a ride, and it's a lot of fun. It's really time consuming, but it's amazing. I mean, we just had the Super Bowl here in Phoenix, and so Scottsdale Living, our Facebook group, we were getting 650, 700,000 views a month. And we still are. I mean, we still get about 600,000 plus. But I mean, the number of people that you touch through that is monumental. I mean, you couldn't put a price on how well it integrates you into the community and puts you kind of front and center.
So something you also identified was that you have to identify the need of your community.
Yeah.
Do you want to make it a general community group, like your groups that you have? Sure. Do you want to do something, and specific? Like that women's group or veterans group. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, how does one start? I mean, do you just create a group and have people? I mean, like, how does it start?
Well, I mean, so it started with trial and error. So I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I'm 53 years old. I've got 4 kids, and I make my living off of Facebook. So, my kids give me hell about that quite a bit. But we learn through trial and error, right? I actually put together a class, and I'm happy to share that with anybody that's on here, and it'll walk you through step by step exactly everything that we learned. But identifying, absolutely, I'll send it to you. Okay. Identifying the need is a big one, right? Because I've seen some agents do, like Phoenix is we get a lot of people move in from out of state. So I've seen a lot of people create groups like, Chicagoans in Arizona or Pacific Northwest in Arizona, and that's kind of their niche group, is people that moved here from, say, Oregon or Seattle, or the people that moved here from Chicago. And, similar idea, you create community, you provide value. Hey, where's the best Chicago food? Or where's the best place to get salmon, that kind of stuff. Right. But in doing that, you kind of become an area expert, or, I heard somebody else say this, you're almost like a digital mayor of that kind of community. So you just kind of need to identify, like I identified Scottsdale because, believe it or not, Scottsdale's got 250,000 people, and there was no real single source of information. We didn't have a major news portal. We didn't have a major website. If you wanted to find out what was going on this weekend, or what's a great Italian restaurant, or who's a good handyman, or who's a good real estate agent, there was nowhere to go to share that information. Right. A lot of people are on the app Nextdoor. So the one thing I didn't want to ever be was Nextdoor, because that's, a whole bunch of people complaining and coyotes pictures and whatever. So right. We wanted to be a little bit different than that. So that's what we did, and we kind of identified the need, and boy, people really, they've come out in droves. It's kind of fun to watch. We get some interactions that, they get viewed by 1 million people. It's crazy to see. And, the whole time my name's front and center right on the top of the page. And, I'm a real active participant in the group as well. So it's just a matter of providing value and getting going. That's the hardest part, is just doing it.
That's exactly what Tristan always says. Come from value driven. Yeah. Come from contribution, give. And I'll never forget that, because I was very new to these communities, and I was doing my first webinar, and he was actually interviewing me. And I try to hide some of the presentation I was doing, and he says, don't do that, because you always want to give. And that's the same concept here. When you have a community group, you want to give. Excuse me. So I like that. I like what you said there. But you also said, make sure you set up your rules correctly. Tell us a bit about what kind of rules are you talking about within that community?
Yeah, so there's Facebook's got different settings. You got to go through the settings and the rules. It's a community group. So if you're not familiar with it, like LabCoatAgents is a group. It's not a page. There's a big differentiation. So every realtor goes out there and they want to create a page, and they got their realtor business page. And, a little bit of news flash for them, 90% of those pages are kind of ineffective, because it's just your friends, your family, and lenders and title companies, right? So you want to actually create a group, a public group. And our group was actually public until like 3 weeks ago. And what that means is, like, everybody in the world that was on Facebook could see what was posted and who posted and what they were saying. We actually went private about 2 weeks ago, and that's one of the settings, and it's something to keep in mind. And the reason we did it is because we get people go on there and say, hey, I need help building a website. And all of a sudden that person would get 400 inbox messages or private messages from people all over the world that wanted to sell them a website. So, it's a way to keep out the spam. So some of those rules and settings are going to be, they're going to be really important. And the thing with a Facebook group is you can't advertise. You can't do paid advertising. Like on a business page, you can pay for social media ads, whatever. On a group, you can't do paid advertising. So it's all organic growth. And you just want to make sure you're setting up the rules so that, you want to make sure you're vetting all your members, all the people that come in, because you're going to get a lot of spam. It's a breeding ground for spammers and scammers and everything else. So you kind of want to make sure that you're setting the right questions up front, that you're vetting the members, you're vetting the posts. And even though we have 200,000 interactions a month, we vet every single one of them, right? So we see every single one. So that's kind of the rules and the settings. There's some basic stuff in there, but there's other stuff that we learned through experience. And like, there's a setting in Facebook for community chats, so you can have community chats. What we found is that people hated them, so we took that rule off. but it's just kind of a trial and error process to go through. But the biggest thing to keep in mind is make a group, don't make a page.
Right.
And I loved when it was public, because I just felt like, everybody could experience Scottsdale, which is a tourist destination, but it just got to be too much potential for scams and ripoffs. So we had to go a little more private.
So you have to kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing you said, and I love these things that you've sent me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I want our audience to really, get some tips out of this. So you said video works, right? Do short videos of local restaurants or gyms or small businesses. And then you said engage your small business communities and help promote them and give information out. Give us an example of a small business that you did. And
yes,
what was the response?
Totally. So we've done a whole bunch. We do a ton of video. We've actually got to the point where we started a podcast. We bring in local business leaders and community leaders. But to start with, I would just go into, I went into a place called The Village, and it's a gym. It's a really nice high-end gym. And we went in there and we sat down with them and we talked to the manager and we went through the facility and kind of got an idea of what was going on. And they were nice enough to offer like a discount to the people that were on the group. And, we've done that. We've gone into a lot of restaurants, especially we really want to support local businesses and small businesses. And so we'll go into, I went into a place that they rent like ATVs and motorcycles, and we sat down and talked to the owner there. And so the video by far gets the best, captures the most, and people love being on screen, right? So, when your restaurant owner sees themselves on the page, on the video, talking about the restaurant, what are they going to do? They're going to invite all their friends, all their patrons, and that's just going to continually drive the new members.
And you just ask questions, right, about their business or, things of that sort. So asking questions when you're sitting down with the owner of the business, get more information about the business, okay?
And believe it or not, we kind of found that people aren't necessarily, you don't want to sell the business as much as you want to sell the person. Okay. Everybody's got a story, and that's what engaged people. We went into a place called Parma Italian Roots, which was a new restaurant, and talked at the time to one of the owners at the time, and he was a chef, and he had an amazing story. It was almost like an Anthony Bourdain story. He traveled across the country from Boston to San Diego to Arizona, and all of his chef experiences and stuff like that. People love, and they really engage with that. It was fun.
And you know what, everyone that's here, hello everybody. You guys are from everywhere. Sorry, I just wanted to kind of get all this information out. We only have 30 minutes, so so much information I want you guys to know out there. But I know, Sara, you said you've been doing a community group and have 16,000 members.
Good job, Sara.
Nice. Yeah, that's amazing in a rural area. And that's really, really amazing. Her question was, she says, I haven't been able to break through actually getting leads from the group. Any suggestions you can give her?
Absolutely. So one of the key things to remember is, like, when you create your group, if you lead with your business, it's totally transparent. Everybody sees that, and you're not going to get any engagement.
Right.
Because they're gonna see, hey, this isn't about value. This isn't about our community. This is about you, right?
Right.
So you have to incorporate your business really, really slowly. Some of the things that I've done that I've gotten really good value out of is I'll do a guess the list price. So if I've got a new listing coming, I'll get a couple pictures of the house. I'm not going to tell people where it's at specifically, but North Scottsdale, 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a pool on an acre of land, guess the list price, And I mean, we get 300, 400, 500 people doing that. And it gets a ton of engagement. And honest to gosh, just about every time that I do that, I shouldn't say every time, I'd say probably 50 to 60% of the time, we sell the house before it even goes live. So people out there see it, they kind of see that it's not on the MLS yet. It's something fresh. It's something nobody else has seen, and you get a ton of engagement. And all we do is we give the person that gets the closest, like a $20 gift card to a local coffee shop.
And that was the next thing you said right here is that, give. Again, you're giving, right? Remember, you don't want to ask, you always want to give. And that's something I actually talked to my team yesterday about. Another thing you said, make engaging posts.
Yes.
Show us your pets. So Marketing Monday. Tell us a little bit about Marketing Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with 46,000 people on the Scottsdale Living Group right now, we started a business group, and it's got about 1,500 local businesses in it. So if you let those businesses post every day, your page is going to be worthless, right? I mean, it's going to be nothing but pictures of business cards from plumbers, and it's not going to, people aren't going to really be drawn to it. So what we do is on Monday, we put up one post. It's called Marketing Monday. And that's a post under which every local business owner can make a comment sharing their business. Again, great engagement. We get probably 200, 300, 400 businesses every Monday. And people, it's a really simple way for people in the community, if they're looking for, an electrician or a plumber or a realtor or whatever, they can see that post and go right through the comments and, kind of find exactly what they're looking for. So rather than let the businesses post willy-nilly all over the place, we just control it and do it on Mondays. And we, the thing with that is you need to get out there. Like, a great example for Sara would be, hey, go out to your local business community, tell them, hey, this is our Marketing Monday thing. We'd love to have you come on there and share your business on Mondays and post underneath this. And that's going to get more engagement. And I mean, the thing that I've really leaned to, and this is probably really helpful for her as well, is try to bring on moderators and other people to help with the page.
Right.
And I try to get people that are, in not necessarily similar industries, but people that are going to touch a lot of people on a regular basis. So, the person that helped me start the Scottsdale Living Business Edition, she's a physical therapist. Her name's Dr. Amber Emright. She came on as an admin, and she sees a lot of people. So, I mean, she's like a raving referral network in and of its own for me, right? So
right.
Make those connections, whether it's an insurance agent or, anybody hair salons, restaurants, anybody that's going to touch a lot of people, massage therapists, bring them into the fold, make them part of the community, and it's going to grow that much quicker. But the benefit to you as the realtor is that all of a sudden you got this referral network, out there working for you, and it's free.
Exactly. That's amazing. When do you bring on moderators and such, admins and moderators and such?
So I messed up, right? So I didn't bring anybody really on till I was at about, 10,000, 12,000 people.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so believe it or not, 10,000, 12,000 people is a lot of work.
Right.
It's a lot of, so I was doing that all myself. And if you're doing it yourself, what happens is that posts don't get approved fast enough. Members don't get approved fast enough. Spam doesn't get taken down quick enough. If you're not all over that, the page can really quickly go sideways on you. And if it's not providing value, the people aren't going to come to it. So my advice is, right off the bat, I would go out and get a couple people, local business owners or local politicians or whoever you're looking for, and bring them into the community as a moderator right off the bat, and they can, of course, promote themselves a little bit, they get the opportunity, but they're also there to help you kind of keep the page under control.
Another thing you also said is that don't allow competitors in the group and wet your members' requests and such. So obviously you would need moderators, but obviously you said don't let your competitors come in. Would it be okay for lenders and title companies to come? They're not competitors.
Yeah. So I mean, our rule, we get a lot of, so we have a lot of people. I mean, first of all, I capture email addresses for the people that join the group. So it builds my database tremendously. But we get a lot of people that come on there and ask, hey, we're moving to this area. Where should I live? What areas do you like? And at first I was letting real estate agents in because it's like, hey, it's a community group. Well, it just got to be too much. I mean, they were pouncing all over it. They're direct messaging anybody that says anything about a possible house. Somebody might say, hey, we're building, we're redoing our kitchen. And all of a sudden 5 real estate agents are sending in private messages. Hey, are you selling? Because you're redoing your kitchen. So, we just eliminated all the real estate agents out of the group. And the group is absolutely not real estate focused at all. It's just an offshoot of being part of the community that comes up. But yeah, we definitely let lenders in, we let title companies in, all that kind of stuff. And, we ask them to participate, so somebody comes on there and says, hey, who's a great realtor? Recommend a great realtor. We're totally fine with anybody in the group recommending whoever they want.
Right.
We're not gonna manage that. We're not gonna block that or anything else, but we don't let real estate agents in and compete. It's like, hey, if they want to do it, go put in 5 years of your own time and build your own thing.
Exactly.
Totally.
I mean, this takes time to build. Anything so good takes time to build. And I've learned that the hard way because I want realtors in general want instant gratification to everything. And we have to kind of pull back, slow down, and understand that we're in the relationship business, and instant gratification it cannot exist in this realm of ours, right?
Yeah, totally.
Doesn't, because we're building relationships. So some of the key indicators that you've given us today is set up the rules, choose the setting, select a name. Select a name that is actually what? How would you select a name?
Well, I mean, so, think about it from the idea of algorithms and meta and how they operate, right? So at the end of the day, it's a community group, so it can't be paid advertising. So it's going to be organic. So you want meta to present it. You want them to feed it up to people. So if people are searching for Scottsdale and the name of your group doesn't have Scottsdale in it and it's about Scottsdale, well, you're not going to show up, right? So you want your name to be pretty direct as far as what it is. I mean, ours is Scottsdale Living. I mean, I think it's pretty transparent. We live in Scottsdale. This is what we do. But I've seen other people do some names that just didn't make any sense. And, so put a little thought into it, because if you get in there and you don't like your name and you got 15,000 people following you and you change the name all of a sudden, your numbers are going to crash like crazy, right? They're not going to recognize it anymore. It's like, imagine if Tristan and the guys and gals wanted to change the name of LabCoatAgents to something else.
It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it'd be a mess, right? So put a little thought into the name for sure.
Yeah.
Run it by some people, but there's the Scottsdale neighbors, Scottsdale living in Scottsdale, Cheers of Chandler. I mean, there's all kinds of good hooks and names, but definitely make sure it's something that's pretty transparent about what it is.
Yeah, and I do have a couple of people that are wanting to access your training.
Sure.
I know Yvonne said I'd like access to training, how to start video as well. And then I know that Ryan says would love access to your training. So that's his email address, guys, right there. And it's very simple. So he, just email him and he'll give you that training. He's very giving. Thank you for that, John. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to kind of focus on also before we leave is you said focus on the name and all these little key indicators that you've given us, like do videos with business owners and things.
Yeah.
What if you don't have a travel destination, right? What if it's just a city? How would you still do the small business owners? Would you still do, favorite places to eat, things like that?
Absolutely. So here's the crazy thing. It's like, no matter how long you've lived in a community or how small it is, there's stuff there that you don't know, and that's the thing I found out about Scottsdale. I thought I knew the city really, really well. And come to find out, I don't know anything about it, so over 5 years, I've learned a ton. So never take it for granted that people know everything about it. If I was in a small rural community, I would hit up everybody I possibly could. Talk to your local insurance guy, go into his office, and it doesn't have to be, you don't have to pay somebody $1,000 to come out and shoot a commercial, right? You got an iPhone, it does great video, buy a little stand for it, buy a nice little mic. You can get a little blue, snow blue mics for $99 or something, make it real simple and just go out, get out there and talk to people, because once you're out there, and you're putting those people in front of the community, you're helping them and you're also getting recognition. And the crazy thing is, like, I literally, I go out to eat now, or I go out to dinner and I go places in town and people see me and they're like, hey, I know you. And it's like, it's ridiculous. It's kind of, it's bizarre, but the more you get out there, whether it's a destination city or not, share everything you can with the community, because you want to be, you want your group to be the resource for your community. And if you can accomplish that, it's going to be great.
And like you said, you are the mayor of your group. You are connecting people. And our business is all about connection, right? You're connecting buyers and sellers together. You're connecting, business owners to other business owners. And it's just a good place. If you build it right, just like LabCoatAgents, if you build it right, people can talk about what is their problem, what issues are they having in real estate, or, what is the one thing they've learned, or whatever it might be. Same concept applies in this community group, except that you're now doing it more in a public space with the community of where you're living.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had a great time here. I learned a lot, John. I always do. Thank you so much. But I'm going to ping you after this, and
absolutely,
I know where to reach you, and I want to learn more, because I think this is great. How to build communities within your town and be the mayor of your town, and really, instead of paying for leads, like you said earlier, focus on building that relationship with your communities, and focus building that relationship with people that are within your communities, like small businesses and small restaurants and things like that. So
100%.
Amazing. So let me just look at the chats and see if anyone else has responded. I think somebody said they don't have the email address. I think Jake. Okay, thanks, Jake. We'd love to get into your training class, John.
Absolutely.
Information. I would love to be a part of that too. Thank you so much. Any last words you want to say, or anything you want to say before we end this?
Yeah, totally. One, thank you so much for your time and for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for LabCoatAgents being just a phenomenal resource. And then, just stick with the Nike thing, right? Just do it.
Just do it.
Get out there and do it.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.